Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to do button presses. I should really call this key presses because, well, we are pressing keys on the keyboard. Okay, so let's just take a look at the code we have so far. So we have a variable called a circle, and it's an object because in that object I have different attributes. Right? Maybe you haven't seen it like this, but it's pretty simple to follow, so just kind of go with it for now. Alright, and here we have an ellipse, and the center point is 200, 200, and the width and the height are both the same, so we only need one variable here. And notice that we use a dot operator, which means to go into something. So we went into the variable, the circle, and we got the size attribute, which is 50. Right? So that's why it's 50 in size. Okay, and let's just start off with something simple, such as when you press a button, when you press a key on the keyboard, it will make this shape get bigger, and then maybe another one to make it get smaller. Alright, so let's see. There are a couple ways to do this. Let's start off with an if statement. I'm going to undo this auto refresh. I don't like that. Okay, so if key, notice key lit up in red, but when key is pressed, right? So capital I, capital P will turn red. So that means if a key is pressed, let's just kind of start off like that. If any key is pressed, right? It doesn't matter what key you press. If any key is pressed, I want the circle dot size to go up by 1. Right, plus plus means to increase by 1. So let's see. Press any key. Yep, I'm pressing spacebar, and it goes up by 1. All right, very nice. Now, how do I get it so it could go back smaller? Well, if I want that to happen with another key press, then I should have, I need to specify a key to make it bigger, and then a different key to make it smaller. So I'm going to change this to if the key is pressed, and, right, I need a double ampersand, and let's just say that key is, what key would be good to represent, like, making it bigger? Maybe letter B? Otherwise, else if key is pressed and that key is actually the letter S. I noticed I made a tiny little mistake up here. Notice this thing was red because you need two equal signs. Two equal signs mean you're comparing. It's doing a comparison, checking to see if the key is B. A single equal sign means you're assigning the variable key to equal to B, and we can't do that here because key is already taken by the computer, and then there are probably other reasons why we can't do it inside of an if statement, inside of the conditional part of the if statement. Okay, so if the key is S, then I want the circle dot size to go down by 1, so that's a minus minus. All right, and let's see. So when I press B, yep, indeedy, it gets bigger, and when I press S, it definitely gets smaller. All right, so that's one way to use key as pressed. Now, if you hold down the B button, it'll just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It will just stop. And if you hold on to S, well, let's see what happens. What do you think is going to happen when it gets so small? It gets super, super small. It gets really to a point. I keep going. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's going to stop? No, it actually reverses. It flips. So now my S key is making it bigger, and my B key is making it smaller until it gets to 0, and then it like goes back to positives. Right? So how could we change that? So if we want to fix that, I want to say if the key is pressed and the key is B, and since this one's increasing the size, and I need it to be, I need the size, so that means the circle, that size, I only want to increase it when the size is less than 300. So that means the maximum that it'll make this thing is 299 or 300. All right, let's just say 300 just to make it simple. So if it's not more than 300, that means that the size is less than 300, it will allow it to increase in size. All right, so similarly, what do you think we would put for, what do you think we'll put for this one? If I don't want it to get smaller than, let's say the starting size was 50, right? I don't want it to get smaller than that. The circle, that size, what do you think we put here? More than or less than sign? Remember, I want the circle, I want the size of the circle to only decrease when the size is more than something. Only when it's more than 50. Right? The second it reaches 50, it will no longer decrease because the number needs to be more than 50. Okay, let's try it out and see. This is making it bigger. Let's see if it stops when it gets to 300. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, and let's see if it works with smaller. Making it smaller, making it smaller. There it is. Okay. This is a simple, nice way to use key press. There's a slightly better way to do this. basically we could only use one keys pressed. So like if key is pressed, only then do I want it to do all of this stuff, right? That will save my computer from doing a little bit of extra work. So I don't have to check to see if the key is being pressed there. All I need to do is check to see if the key is B and if the circle size is the right thing. And the same thing here, right? So this will only happen. Let me tab this stuff in correctly. Oh, this is driving me crazy. You're making me crazy. Okay. So there it is, right? So only when the key is pressed will it even get into this chunk of code. And let's try and see. Let's make sure that works. You know, I make mistakes too. And yep, you can see it works. It works just well. And you can hold on to the key B and it does everything just fine. There is another way that I prefer, but sometimes this is the way that you kind of want it. There is a callback function that you could use that interrupts the draw cycle. And that is a brand new function. So you have to type it just like this, function. And you see how draw is in bold, they got blue, and it's like this bold blue for the setup. Well, you know, if you type something that the computer recognizes as its own, it will turn to that same dark blue. And that is key. I always mess this up. Oh, nice. It has this autofill thing here. Key press, right? You can play around with the other stuff that it has as well, which should be pretty cool. But key pressed. This will only happen. Anything inside of this section will only trigger if a key is pressed. So if I took all of this and I cut it and I paste it right there, well, this stuff will only happen when the key is pressed. So I no longer need this. And let's press play and see. Now, here's the thing. I can't hold down the letter B and have it become bigger. I have to keep pressing it multiple times. And the same thing for S. I have to keep pressing it. There's no holding down here. So that's a handy feature. Sometimes you want that to be the case, such as if you're increasing the score on a scoreboard or something. You only want it to increase by 1. If it's up here, it will increase too rapidly. Okay, so that is pretty much it. I hope you learn how key presses work. And just to like add on a little bit extra here, I just want to show you. Like, let's just say you want to change something else about the circle. Let's add a few attributes. So let's do stroke weight. Right? Naturally, the stroke weight is 1. I cannot use the variable stroke weight. I have to use the variable weight. So there we go, because stroke weight is taken by the computer. Let's say stroke is the color of the border. Let's just call it border color. Why not? All right, and 0 is black, so let's keep it like that. And if I would like to change those things when I press a key, well, I'm just going to add some stuff here. The stroke. Well, right now it's just black, which is inside of the circle object, the circle dot border color. Border color. All right, let's just press play, make sure we're not getting any errors. And then the stroke weight. So stroke weight, that's the thickness of the border. I'm going to use that attribute I have inside of the circle, so the circle dot weight. All right, this object kind of makes things a little bit nicer, but then at the same time it makes the code a little bit longer. Instead of creating 10 variables, you know, you could just have everything in one, but then you have to like type the circle. It's up to you. I like this a lot. To me, it helps simplify things a little bit. Okay, so let's see. Let's add another key here. Else if what? Let's say the key that's being pressed is, I don't know, let's just do R for red. I want to change the stroke weight, so that's the circle dot, what do I call it? Border color? Border color. Always gotta be careful with the spelling of your variables. Border color. Okay. Whoops, I put a colon. Border color equals, I want the color red, and I know that to be 255, because this is RGB 00. Oh gosh, I hope I'm not losing you too much by getting too complicated here. Right, but let's just try it out and see. If we press R, you'll see it turns to red. Right? I challenge you to try it for the stroke. Nope, stroke is what we just said. Try for the stroke weight. Press a key that will make the thickness of that border change. Right, you should pause right now and just try it. Hopefully you paused and you tried it, but we'll do it right now. Else if key equal, I don't really know what key you want to press to make it bigger. I don't know. Let's do T. YT, I'm not quite sure. So the circle dot weight, when I press it, well, right now it's 1. Let's make it 5. Let's try it out. Boom. And let's make it red. Boom. Let's make it bigger. Oh, I gotta keep pressing it multiple times here. Okay. So there you have it. I hope you learned something cool, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.